Okay, this video is the Bible ban bill is unconstitutional. I made a brief video yesterday about the Bible ban bill. It's HR, I think that stands for House of Representatives 6090, and it is unconstitutional. It is a violation of the First Amendment. So here is what the First Amendment says. It says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. You can make whatever religion you want, or prohibiting the free exercise of that religion. So if your religion says and does something, you're allowed to do that. And this bill claims that a religion is not allowed to do what it does, what it's done for thousands of years. Okay, in addition, they're not allowed to abridge the freedom of speech. So, the founding fathers of the United States, a bunch of white Christian men, specifically were aware of problems with government in other countries. They had studied government going back thousands of years and were quite familiar with the ancient Greeks, with Solon the lawgiver. They were quite familiar with the Roman Republic of the ancient Romans. They were quite familiar with the Roman Empire, with Cicero, and with what had gone before them, with the issues in the Renaissance and whatnot, okay, with the kingdoms throughout Europe. So they wanted to make sure, they know that freedom of speech is the power of the people. So they wanted to make sure we had that. They also know that religion is the power and the friend of the little guy. Because what religion says, the Bible says that man is created in the image of God, therefore he has intrinsic rights. These are enshrined in the Constitution, as we're talking about here. But also, what it means is that he's important, he's significant, his life has meaning. And that's important because what rulers tend to want is complete power and to say that they are the equivalent of God on earth and that man is nothing. He's just a talking primate, a talking monkey, and they own him. He's a farm animal, a slave, okay? So according to the Constitution, First Amendment, they are not allowed to try to abridge or curtail our free speech. And they are not allowed to abridge or curtail our free press. We should be able to write whatever we want on all these social media platforms, okay? And it is also the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and it is also their right to petition for redress of grievances. So, just so you know, this is important to know, because what's happened is the billionaire perverts, they've spent decades and decades thinking about this. How can they remove Christianity from the earth? And they're getting better and better at it. They're stacking, political voting groups and getting more and more of what they want to get rid of Christianity, to get rid of freedom, free speech, to increase censorship. All of this is not happening by accident. Nothing happens by accidents, okay? The first step to understanding anything in the modern world and current events is that you realize none of this happens by accident. Big money from above decides what it wants, and it starts using all of its money to push for things. And that's why all kinds of bizarre things happen. Okay, but you need to know this, because if this continues and they make Christianity illegal, it's pretty obvious. I mean, all the stuff I'm saying to me is like kindergarten. This is obvious stuff from reading history. Read about the history of the Russians in the 1900s, okay? Read about what happened in Germany in the 1930s. Read about what happened in China in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, okay? And read about what happened with Pol Pot, in the whole Vietnam, Cambodia area, and what happened in other countries, in some areas in Eastern Europe. This is all pretty standard, except it's even worse nowadays because they got high tech to empower a small centralized group more over a large decentralized population. So anyways, First Amendment is on the side of freedom.